Welcome. The rowing motion, our upper body pulling exercises or pulling movements, are probably the most important ones that we can work on, or most imbalanced ones that we need to train because of the dominance of our upper body in the front of our body, or the anterior side of our body. Those posterior side muscles, the upper back and the underarm, they're just usually underworked and sometimes strained and lengthened. Others are tightened and shortened all the time, so it's really important to train your pulling muscles. Pulling can be done obviously unilaterally or bilaterally, and it can be done from various angles: pulling high, pulling low, pulling down, pulling to you. We'll start today with just the basic row straight to you, and then in following videos I'll show you variations of how that's done. So from a postural standpoint, just to keep things nice and square and lined up, your pulling motion is very simple. You're going to grab some resistance. Let's use something simple for today. And you'll have that resistance coming out in front of you. Through the resistance training exercises, and most importantly when you're using resistance bands, you want to maintain tension and be able to achieve the fullest range of motion you can without losing some good postural checkpoints. So on the pulling motion, you're going to line up with those hands far enough out that you can feel that resistance pulling you forward, and you're going to start by correcting good posture through those shoulder blades and trying to maintain a good sternum position so that the sternum isn't caving. Especially as we get tired during the pull, we'll tend to cave that sternum down. Our rowing motion or pulling motion is going to come through the shoulders and the elbows. Through the shoulders, including the upper arm, collarbone, and shoulder blade. So there's a little bit of work being done through the entire shoulder blade, shoulder complex, called the shoulder girdle. Simultaneously, we're getting elbow flexion against resistance and elbow extension coming back to the elongated position of that elbow and those muscles. So our primary movers here are our biceps are here, our back muscles including the latissimus, some shoulder blade muscles in here, and then between the shoulders and the spine are a couple other big muscle groups that help to drive those elbows back and bring those shoulder blades back into nice posture. So the rowing motion from the front view is going to be a light angle of our elbow away from our ribs. We're not locking it right to the ribs. And then rowing motion from the side angle is the tougher part. So the row here comes back with the shoulder blades driving down and back in their postural position, and that's all the further the upper arm needs to go. We technically can bring the elbows back further, but I think you can see from here that this isn't a proper angle. What I've done is I've started to internally rotate my shoulder in what we call a hitch, and that's tightening my chest muscles here. I don't want to worry about going too far back with my elbow. I want to make sure I line my upper arm with the spine and maybe a little bit further back. Technically, it should only be about 15 degrees back of shoulder extension here. So we're right about here, settling that shoulder blade down and back into our bilateral row. And the same story would be the case if I was doing a unilateral row. Down and back, steady forward, and down and back. Always working on putting a lot of mindfulness and connection of the mind to body to those muscle groups while we're doing it.